Here we go. Welcome, Sheri, for being here. I'm so excited to have you. I'm going to introduce Technology of Self. Technology of Self is a podcast that I've been on a journey to create for years at this point. And it's really about how we are technology as the human body. And so this is a podcast that's devoted to that idea that all this wonderful technology is coming to help augment our reality. Yet we already have this amazing technology that we can hone and that we can get more sophisticated with and evolve. So we're having a conversation with Sheri Herndon today about this. So Sheri, would you please give us a little meditation to get us grounded into our space? And then I'll introduce you and we'll do some questions. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. It feels great to be here. And I love this topic and what you're nurturing with the podcast.
Thank you.
So I just invite everybody who is listening and watching wherever you are, just gently close your eyes if you can. And allow yourself to soften from the inside. Whatever that might mean to you, your body has a great, vast intelligence. So when you hear words like that, soften from the inside, just allow your innate intelligence to guide you. Let your mind soften into your heart. The mental capacities become held within the intelligence of the body and the heart. And as you do that, notice how your breath may slow down. And if it hasn't slowed down, just invite a slower inhale and a slower exhale. And we tune our bodies in so many ways. We're always looking for, I shouldn't say always, but often, for a relaxation and an energy that feels good. No sharp edges, things are soft. Just noticing any tense places in your face, behind your eyes. No judgment, with no judgment, just on your next breath, just exhale. Let that all drop into the earth. Just know we are electromagnetic beings. That's why earthing is so good. The earth is our ground. You can tune to a sort of subtle vibration within the body, your own inner harmonic. We are water, and everything around us, there's energy and vibration and frequency, and so we are that. Notice how as you start to pay attention with your body as the mind body, you can feel how you are feeling and sensing more. You feel perhaps how your back is open. We tend to be so forward with our chest, hunched over our computers, but back, proprioception, we can have a full spectrum awareness. Your eyes are pointing forward, but we have sensing in the back of our bodies. Just feel how the back can be. Trillions of cells, and they are all doing things. we do not have to pay attention to, but we can learn to harmonize our body's intelligence and wisdom and vast connection to our DNA and the DNA time. Feel that we are a beautiful tuning fork between cosmos, the should feel good without driving or attachment. Just notice how the body likes to relax, likes to soften. Things become more connected from within inside. Oh, maybe just as we take our last nice inhale, and a gentle long exhale and a sigh if you would like to. And just place your hand, one or two, over your heart, making contact with your body. Say, thank you, beautiful body, for being with me on this journey. Gently flutter the eyes open, come back to where we are here in this now.
Thank you. Super appreciate that. So good to get present with oneself, no matter what's happening around. And I must say, my roommate is in the other room making a lot of noise. Do you hear it right now?
No.
Okay, it's a little bit. So that grounding was like this. So thank you for that meditation. And I feel definitely that this kind of meditation, it supports me in being calm and relaxed in my body, no matter what's happening in the world around me. And I would like to introduce Sheri Sophia Herndon. Sheri Sophia is a cultural architect and whole systems designer dedicated to creating a regenerative and enlightened civilization. With a rich background in integral spiritual practice, psychosocial tools, and other over 30 years of experiences at the intersection of consciousness, storytelling, and social innovation, Sheri focuses on fostering human potential and community collaboration. Sheri holds a master's degree in interdisciplinary studies and organizational systems renewal and co-founding indiemedia.org, a pioneering global media network for citizen journalism. She hosts the podcast Awakening Together and works as a citizen scientist for consciousness and coherence. Passionate about nature, Sheri practices meditation, yoga, and dance, and strives to midwife heaven on earth through radical social transformation and stewardship of sacred lands. Now, Sheri, that is amazing and so much. And so many people may not know what that is. Can you share a little bit about what your master's degree is, what you learned, and what does it mean to live into our greatest potential and be a whole systems social architect?
Yeah, thank you so much. Everything is a life. We're in a life journey. The learning journey of being alive is pretty incredible and a great gift. So I have been paying attention and following my passion and listening deeply to my heart from a very early age. And what that gave me is an awareness early on without any schooling. It was basically Mother Nature, being out in the woods of Connecticut, where I spent every moment when I wasn't in school. And I learned so much. There's that book that says, everything I learned was in kindergarten. So, yeah, everything I learned was in the woods of Connecticut, but then we build on it. We build on it. And so one of the first things is that nature has a beautiful pattern. There's a pattern language in life that I believe that we are getting back to, we are remembering, and that it means that we are not separate from the world around us. Everything is intimately connected. The silos that we did from the Industrial Revolution and even the Enlightenment, where it's like, I think, therefore I am, not the body, all these kinds of breaks in civilization for 2,000 years as well, where the body was considered bad and carnal and all these things. It created a separation from the intelligence and the genius that we are. And interdisciplinary studies, which came into whole systems design and then using Barbara Marx Hubbard's The Wheel of Co-Creation and the integral life practice, is that everything is included. So all the sectors of life are, you don't want to exclude anything. Like you can't have a healthy economy when you're not paying attention to the ecology. You can't pay attention to the ecology when you have people who are suffering and poor. You can't have other things, a just legal system if you're polluting the rivers. And we used to just separate everything. And what we have to do is the interdisciplinary studies that I did early on, and actually even in college as in philosophy, was everything is needed. Everything connects. And if you look at like a wheel, so imagine a wheel and there's 12 areas of human endeavor. At the center of the wheel is where everything connects. And in Barbara's map, with many frameworks, the map is not the territory, is that it's the heart where all the systems are here in this heart. And so when we have that, we have wholeness. And coming out of separation and fragmentation and silos, which have created a lot of harm in our world because it's fragmented from the reality that we're in, fragmented from understanding the patterns of nature, fragmented separation from ourselves. We're like not in our bodies because we're so traumatized. So I'll just say, I'll leave it there for the moment.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. And so there's a few things I'd love to go over and whatever you feel resonant with. The wheel, this wheel that Barbara Marx Hubbard made, and then also the heart in the center of it. I remember seeing the diagrams of this. Yes, this is it. And then how it spirals into the cosmos because it's a creation, right? So,
yeah, thank you so much. I love that. I'm actually co-authoring a chapter on Barbara Marx Hubbard right now with 2 other friends, and it's quite an interesting process to try to do that in 3,000 words. So it's like a level view. But Barbara's Wheel of Co-Creation, it's something that comes from 12 around 1 is a framework. Buckminster Fuller was using that. Others have used it in other places. So it's a map that is not like hers alone. What she did with these, she created it. She took it into a certain process through which she used it as a pattern language for putting on syncons, synergistic conversion. So people in all these areas, and then they would come together for a day and they would do these things where they would connect to their vocation and their passion in their areas of expertise. And then it would be like, what do you need? Oh, in order to do your work. Oh, and then you discover that what you need is over there in that sector. Oh, otherwise you would just spin around over here. So then all of a sudden the system gets to see how we all are cross-pollinating. And the wheel of co-creation is part of a map that she named the Sacred Evolutionary Journey. And that we go from the Big Bang or the Great Radiance, and then there are these spirals. And as you know, in life, spiral is everywhere. It's a Fibonacci sequence. It's a spiral. So imagine that we're on this journey where like the cosmos is birthing itself. And then we have billions of years. I did an interview with Jude Curvan, a cosmologist, and she was saying how after the big breath or the great radiance, that moment when everything comes into being, 380,000 years of just sound. Like,
Mm.
no visuals. You can't see. It was so hot that you couldn't see, but there was just sound. And it was like, when she told me that, I was like, wow, okay, that's so cool. So then you have billions of years of a process of life unfolding and stars being born and elements dancing all over the place. And then you get this planet 4 billion years ago, and then it becomes 4 billion years later, here we are. And that we're in a process of becoming and waking up. And her other central meme is like a meta meme is conscious evolution. So we are consciously evolving because we are now aware of the process of creation that is more balanced and in harmony with natural law. And that means we are designing and creating from wholeness, not separation. And that when we use the wheel of co-creation, what it does is it accelerates our process of evolving. We were just evolving our systems without awareness and thought, just partials. But now we're coming at it with this whole awareness, and we're learning, learning really fast, and we're healing. That's the other thing that I think is really important. And I can talk about that later when we talk about sort of collective trauma and the work, Gene Keys and Thomas Hubel, and we'll see what makes sense. So there was another question that you asked, but I think that sort of just does a little bit with that map. And we are becoming members of a new species. So instead of Homo sapiens, we are Homo luminous. We are Homo universalis. We're actually in a process of becoming. And we can have a third attractor. We can have a more beautiful attractor out there that's calling us the telerotic. There's the telos, that's like the evolutionary purpose. Who are we becoming? And then there is the eros of life. And Barbara put those two words together, telerotic. So it's like life has an eros to it. It's drawn to each other. And the powers of the universe, the zero is seamlessness. So the unitive nature of everything is actually all connected. We look at these beautiful, I breathe with the trees in the morning. I really want people to breathe, go outside and breathe with the trees. Just do that with the trees. And I tell you, you'll feel the trees breathing, exhaling, and letting that be the oxygen you breathe in. And so everything is connected. The mycelial web of life, we know this now, but we're learning to embody this. And so that powers of the universe, another cosmologist, these patterns are at all levels of scale. You have zero is seamlessness. One is centration. Centration is like everything is a sovereign thing. Woo! You are you. Never will there be another you. And you, as in a beautiful Denise, and you who are listening right now and watching. And that is, you have original medicine. So the centration. And then the second power of the universe is allurement. Allurement is everything is connecting. That's like the moon and the sun and the gravity, and everything is perfect. If you were a little bit more far away, little moon or little earth, the tides would either be stagnant or we'd have tidal waves. So there's this Goldilocks perfection zone that we're living on, and we are in a process of becoming. And Barbara and I lived with her for the last 2 years of her life and worked with her for, 18 years or something like that. And we would wake up and, see each other at breakfast in the house and be like, I am a member of a new species. And so we are in a process of becoming, and that heaven on earth is very real to me. An enlightened civilization, that is my attractor that is calling me, because I am in a state of becoming, and you are in a state of becoming. And each person listening right now is in a state of becoming, and you are choosing who you are to be. And you have this beautiful medicine that never been seen before. Your voice is unique. Your little fingerprints are unique. And wow, we don't really have homogeneous systems, but we did that. We put everything into an industrial mode and we squelch life. Okay. So we're in this process of opening up, opening up, opening up, healing, healing, connecting more of life to itself so that we can be more whole. That's the Jewish Kabbalist word for that is tikkun olam, returning to wholeness, healing the world into wholeness. So, yeah, just feel how you are in a process of becoming, and I invite you to ask boldly and deeply for your greatest heart's desire. Like, what is that yearning in you? And give yourself that freedom. Give yourself permission to feel that ask boldly and deeply for your greatest heart's desire. For coded in that desire is your blueprint for your evolutionary potential.
Mm. Woo. I love that. So there's the technology that our desire itself is a code of what we are here to be and to create and how we may evolve. So you're talking about consciousness and how the universe is creating this whole path for us to become becomings or becomings. So what is a practical path for this consciousness to develop? That's one question. And then another question is the 12 spokes, the portions of the wheel. What are those? Because and the synergizing and how, I mean, right now we're a global community and it's time for us to synergize. It's time for us to not be in our silos and our separated industries only connected by certain people that are able to bridge. It's more like we're all bridging, becoming bridgers of each other. And that's where the diversity is understanding different forms of humanity, which is an evolution in itself, because then we can broaden our landscape of knowing what is possible for humanity. So can you talk a little bit about that and the consciousness and the different sectors and how we're evolving our consciousness in the evolution of life?
So there's a couple threads there. I've seen different versions. They can be named different things, but let's just say we have health, we have infrastructure, we have justice, we have media, we have science, we have spirituality, we have arts, we have relationships, we have governance, and we have a few others on this wheel. So imagine that we could divide that up in different ways. I've seen it done in different ways. And then what happens in this wheel of co-creation, it's down at the hub of the wheel. This is a framework. This is a theory of change. Okay. It's a map. Its
Mm-hmm.
core is our heart connection. It's like it's our oneness with everything. We are all connected. And we are like in the heart coherence. Global coherence is like, can you imagine if we were operating at that the hum of life, the rhythm of life, the heartbeat, like we were in sync, we were in flow. So tuning into our heart with each other, even as we're in different sectors. And you were saying, well, how then can we synergize? And I'll speak to that. But to finish this map, so you have that heart of the hub of the wheel. And then all of those who are gathering there, those who are ready, those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, everybody, in the bell curve of innovation has like the early adopters, okay? And then all the amazing people, and then it's the last laggard, which is such a funny word. So we're early pioneers and early adopters. And at that core is a communion of pioneering souls.
Mm-hmm.
So we then are in Gene Key's framework, where this synarchy, which is this amazing, like we are actually connected. The minute that we actually realize we have a connection through time, non-locally, hello, that's why I'm a citizen scientist of consciousness and coherence, because I now have something that's been designed from the Princeton Engineering and Anomalies Research Lab of 20 years, which I'll talk about some other point, but that we are actually learning how to use the field itself as a vessel of intelligence that we can exchange non-locally. We don't have to be physically in touch someone to feel
Mm-hmm.
that communion of all of those who are ready to be inhabiting a more regenerative, beautiful world. that is a technology, and that is a consciousness that happens. Irvin Laszlo talks about one of his books about the chaos window. And the chaos window, we're in the chaos window. Okay, there's no doubt we're in. And what's great about the chaos window is when you're in a homeostasis and everything is cruising, it's very hard to make change in that system. Now, that chaos window enables groups of people, small group of people on the edge of culture holding a sufficiently coherent, positive image of the future is a factor. And according to the research of Fred Pollock, an image of the future, which is like a whole other topic, I could go right down the rabbit hole, but that is the one causal factor that caused the shift from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance. 3 generations, 1,000 people. So we have a power of coherence. Greg Braden says square root of 1% of the population. HeartMath says 350,000 people in coherence. These help us understand that there is a spiritual technology, a social technology, a biospiritual technology that we are just at the edge of tapping into. And that is social potential. So we're at the cusp of what we have not yet really experienced, but our capacities are just getting turned on.
Yes. And we noticed that in our group, like how synergy can happen. And here's some synergy right here where I get to invite you to discuss this on the podcast. I'm having all kinds of visions of what more can be done to help support the synergy of the individual with themselves, but also thus with each other. And then bringing in more understanding of all this diverse ways of being in the illuminated state and the vital state rather than the shadow. We've been working in shadow for so long, and now it's time to work in the light and to code that light and to be that light.